Major League Baseball legend. I can't say it enough. Manager extraordinaire. Our main man, Bobby Valentine, joins the show. Coach, I can't thank you enough.
Oh, man.
Good to be with you guys. How you doing? Good morning.
Man,
Morning.
thank you so much, Coach. Hey, Coach, let me ask you, can I call you Coach? Is Coach, since I've been a coach my whole life in the football world, what is the difference between manager and a coach?
Coach, I like it. You know, I'm a coach, so I get it. You know what I mean? But, you know, there's this stigma around baseball where the guy who's the head of the baseball team is supposed to be called the manager or the skipper. And I guess the difference is, you know, that they wear the same costume, right, as the players.
Yeah.
You know, when you coach, you didn't wear the same costume as the players, you know? So you were the coach, you were over on the side, and in baseball, they're the manager. I don't get it. I always like being called.
You're a coach to me, man. Leaders create more leaders, not more followers, last time I checked. So you're always a coach to me. I can't thank you enough for joining us. Can't thank you enough. This is my buddy Big Smitty. He's our co-host. He works at Fox and covers some great ones over there. A lot of baseball players as well over there on Fox that he covers. I got to ask you right out the gate. I got a question for you, Coach. I got a question for you that I have to ask. You coached one of my idols in Nolan Ryan, and I think 90 or 91. He was 43 and 44, respectively. And this dude had no hitters. Like, I got to ask you, how blown away were you to this day and how good he was in his 40s, which I don't think we'll ever see again. Can you explain those? Can you explain that at that age?
Nope, I can't explain it. It's matter. I was only 41. He was 43. Think about that stuff, huh? And I played in his first no-hitter. I was a center fielder in 73 in his first no-hitter with the California Angels. And then I broke my leg and I was in the stands. I watched his second no-hitter with the Angels, and then he managed his sixth and seventh no-hitter, his 5,000 strikeout game, and his 300 win. Hey, so check this one out. So when he's going for his 5,000 strikeout, right?
Yep.
Everyone comes to the game. They know he's got a chance. He starts the game at 4,997, right? So he needs three more. He's going to get $5,000. The stadium is packed, and everyone's bringing their camera because they want to catch this Kodak moment of him in his 5,000 strikeout. Well, who comes to the plate? But one of the guys that I don't want to say disliked the most, but he disliked him the most, Rickey Henderson. He has 4,999 strikeouts. Here comes Rickey, and here comes everyone on their feet. The count goes to 3-2. Big Tex steps back. He picks up his pants as he usually did. He tugs on his hat. He looks down at the sign. He takes a sign and does that, wind up the kick, and he throws 98-mile-an-hour fastball up and away to Rickey Henderson. You know what happens? The stadium goes up in one big flashbulb. Everybody had their little Kodak cameras, and they're going to capture this moment. And as the pitch is being thrown, the entire stadium goes up in a flashbulb light, and I almost fall off the step that I'm standing on. And Rickey Henderson fouled the pitch off. How he ever came close, how he didn't fall down, how he swung and got a piece of this ball, I'll never know. But he fouled it off, and we got to do it again. And Big Tex went back and pulled up his pants and fixed his hat and did his windup and threw it 99 this time and struck Rickey Henderson out for his 5,000 strikeout. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Damn. Yeah. Paris, clip that, Paris. Clip
that right now, Paris.
Yeah. God dang, that's unbelievable. Let me ask you, Coach, real quick. Are you responsible for Bobby Bonilla getting this payday still to this day?
I was just in Japan. I saw Bobby Bonilla. I would say that I'm partially responsible for that. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Now, for our fans, can you kind of explain, how you're responsible for that, just for the new fans?
I was managing the Mets, and Tommy Lasorda was the general manager of the Dodgers. We were playing at the end of the season, Dodgers and Mets. I was driving Tommy to the park because he stayed with me all the time whenever we were together. And he looked at me and said, hey, why don't your fans like that Mel Rojas? We had a relief pitcher named Mel Rojas. Gave up a big double to Paul O'Neill in this, in the Subway Series interleague version. So the fans hated him. They booed him every time he came out on the field, all that stuff. And I said, well, because he gave up the hit, we're not going to have him next year. We're paying him $5 million next year. He says, I like that guy. I wonder if we could make a trade. I said, well, I don't make the trades. My general manager does. But, what do you got to trade? He said, how about Bonilla? He's making $5 million too. So I said, well, talk to the general manager at the game today. He went and talked to Steve Phillips. Steve said, I'll meet you at the general manager's meetings. Maybe we can do it. The problem is Bobby Bonilla had 2 years at $5 million. And when I talked to Tommy, he said, hey, listen, you'll like this guy. He played in New York before. If you don't like him after a year, the Dodgers will pay his second year of his contract. I said, well, that sounds like a trade we can make. Well, there was stuff going on, and Steve Phillips, the general manager, didn't make it to the general manager's meetings, and Frank Cashin took over, and he made the trade with the 2 years and not with the stipulation that they would pay it. Well, we had him for a year. He didn't do all that good. He wasn't going to be part of the 2000 team. So we decided to release him, and the Mets, at the time, I guess they were making some pretty good money with the guy named Bertie Madoff, and they felt that, they kept the $5 million for a while, that they could make a lot of money. And they told Bobby when they released him, we won't pay you the $5 million now, but we'll pay you $1 million a year for 30 years if you wait 10 years. And he said, I'll do it. And he's making $1 million a year for the next, probably another 8 or 9 years. So I think the ride to the ballpark initiated Bobby Bo getting $1 million a year for, the rest of his life, probably.
Wow. Unbelievable story. That's crazy. This man's dropping none but great story. That's unbelievable. So I've been around Tommy a lot because I don't know if you, I'm sure you know, but Phil Trani's restaurant here in Long Beach, California.
I was just there about 2 weeks ago. I saw Phil, had a big dinner at that. As a matter of fact, it was for his birthday.
Yes.
He shut the place down. Sure.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. I've known Phil since I was a little kid, and he's got my book and my helmet, my football helmet and stuff. He used to feed my whole team. He filmed my whole team, Bobby. Like my whole team, he'd feed us on Fridays before the game. Like unbelievable man, right? And the legends that have gone in there yourself, obviously, goes in there. But Tommy would be in there when I was a little kid, when it used to be in San Pedro. And Joe Amalfitano. That's when the Franklin Stubbs era was in LA and shit. I don't know where you were coaching at that time. Maybe Texas. I don't know. Houston.
Good job, Coach. Yeah, I was in Texas, and Tommy was with Phil, and God, Phil's a spectacular person.
Oh man, still cooks.
He's given so much to the community, and I'll tell you what, he's got a treasure trove of memorabilia in that restaurant.
Oh, there's no doubt. I took Smitty in there, and we had dinner, and he got to see the kitchen and everything. And Phil still cooks, man. It's crazy. Crazy. Let me ask you, what's your take right now on current landscape? We got bigger bases, the pitch clock. I've asked a lot of guys. I had Brett Boone on here a couple weeks ago, and I was talking to him about, is his, 2001 Mariners, 116 wins record in jeopardy with this loaded Dodger roster. That's kind of had some hiccups here recently, but I think they're going to still be fine. Where are you at with the current landscape? Obviously, the teams like the Dodgers doing what they're doing. You coached in the era of Moneyball in Oakland, and guys are trying to be innovators and create ways to manipulate cap. Now we got this guy that's just saying, screw it, we'll buy everybody up in L.A., and I think others will follow suit. But then we add the new rules. Where are you at in this current landscape of craziness?
Well, that's a lot of stuff you just touched on there, Coach. You know what I mean? Hey, Smith, you know what I mean? All that stuff early in the morning.
Answer everything he just asked you. Answer every question.
Go chronologically,
Coach. A lot of stuff there now. Woo! Yeah.
That's my host, my co-host.
I don't mind the bases, I guess. I don't know that we needed them. I'm not I don't mind the pitch clock, even though I think we could have just said to the guys, hey, boys, we got to speed up the game. Hey, let's watch an old film. See, you don't need all this time before you get into the box. But I do think pitchers do need, at times, they need more than that clock will give them. Where, when they throw 23 pitches in the inning and they're backing up third base and they're getting back to the mound and it's 90 degrees and they're sweating and they're huffing and puffing, they need a little more time to recover before they throw that 99-mile-an-hour fastball. And, maybe there's an unintended or maybe intended consequence that their control will be off and they won't hit their spot and there'll be more offense. I don't know. But, the game is a good game. I like the way it's being played. I'm a little concerned of Tampa playing in Tampa before 12,000 people. I'm a little concerned of Miami getting 5,000 people at a game. I'm concerned what they're doing with the A's in Vegas and Sacramento. I'm concerned on whether or not the game understands that it's really not about the game, but it's about the players, and that the MLB hasn't done the job that they could do and should do in promoting their own players. It's speed up the game and make the game better and WBC and all the stuff that deals with kind of the game, where what people want, what fans want, they want the players. They want more Ohtanis. They want more Sagers. They want these guys, Mookie Betts, to be front and center in their life. They want that poster on their kids' wall so that the kids can emulate the baseball players. And I'd like to see more of that done. I don't like the runner on second base. That's the only thing. I'm not big on that. He didn't earn his way there. The run wasn't earned as far as I'm concerned. Across the plate, the wind's kind of tainted, because, it's not real baseball.
Yeah, every sport's doing that. Smitty and I argue all the time on the show, like football. It just everything seems to be going. It's player empowerment, number one, and then number two, it's just like, man, just give me more. And it's like, God dang, are we gonna earn it anymore? Like we used to? I just see a lot of stuff. Does Ricky Henderson steal more bases or less with this current base size?
Oh, he'd steal more. Ricky was the greatest ever. He said it. I said it. Everyone should say it because, the way he could do it was phenomenal. And a little more base, little easier move at first base where they're not thrown over. Ricky played for me. He was, in his late 30s. He'd get on base. They'd still throw over 6 and 7 times. At the end of the game, he'd still have his bruises on his arms and his legs from diving back into the base so many times. So, it was tough on Ricky. It's not that tough today on the player, that's for sure.
Coach, let me ask you something. Go ahead, Smitty.
Tell me, Smitty.
Yeah, I was going to jump in. So you mentioned a name a few moments ago, Shohei Ohtani. I want to ask you, obviously, you've been around the game for quite some time, man. Can you talk about just how great is Shohei? Like, is he already an all-time great?
Yeah, he's already an all-time great, but he's going to have to put in the years to be, that guy at the Hall of Fame with his numbers. But everyone who plays against him, everyone who plays with him, everyone who sees him do what he does realizes he's a little different. He's he's a genius. He's that other level of athlete and baseball player. I like to say that, Major League Baseball has the room full of concert pianists, but Shohei's like, he's Mozart, he's composing the music as well as playing it. He's really different.
No doubt. Coach, I got to ask you, if I might be incorrect here, you were a football guy, correct?
Whoa. Boy, I sure don't look at gray, white, all that stuff. You kidding me? Football, running with the football. Well, in those days, it was okay. I was fast. I was tough. I was Italian. And, I was a football player in high school. Shoot, what does that mean?
How good were you? Be honest. Don't be humble.
Hey, Smitty, don't let him fool you. He had 53 career touchdowns, state record.
Yeah.
He wasn't no bull. This ain't
So
no
you was
bullshit.
a baller. So you could have played
Yeah.
football next level, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and won a state title and went 9-0. And yeah, he's not he's humble guy, Smitty. Don't let him fool you now. He's the guy.
Thanks, Coach. That was in the big state of Connecticut. You know, that football powerhouse of Connecticut.
Hey,
for whatever it's worth, I was as fast as there was. Okay,
I recruited a kid.
As there was.
Hey, I had one of my best players.
That counted.
Hey, one of my best players ever. One of my best players ever from Connecticut. David Reed played in the NFL a long time for the Baltimore Ravens. Let me ask you something. Is this true too? Because you mentioned and you dropped the fact of Mozart and in the arts world. Were you truly, really a champion ballroom dancer?
I won an international ballroom dance title at the Fontainebleau Hotel in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, out of Connecticut. To get there, I had to win the regional competition, which was at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City. Yeah, I was pretty good. I wore a tuxedo as a teenager. I had a partner that, we danced all the time, practiced in her basement. We had the steps down, and I was good at that stuff.
I thought jacks of all trades couldn't be masters of something.
I was a master of a couple.
What's going on?
Great baseball player, great football player, can dance. Is there anything that you can't do? That's probably the better question.
Yeah, I'm still not a very good swimmer, to tell you the truth. Whatever that's worth. But guys, I don't want to go without telling you that this weekend is a very special weekend in LA. It's the Battle of the Manassian Cup. Right? So Perry Manassian and Zach Manassian are general managers of their respective teams, the San Francisco Giants and the LA Angels. They're brothers. Never before has that happened in the sport of baseball, where two brothers were general managers of a team. And this weekend, they lock horns in Anaheim, Giants and Angels, for the Manassian Cup. Yeah, to see which brother comes out in the inaugural test of 3 games, Giants and Angels, and it's the Brothers Cup. It's going to be fun.
Let me ask you, they Paisan?
No, well, their grandmother was Italian, but they're Armenian. Yeah.
Armenian. Okay, got you. So that was full circle to this question, and I can't thank you enough for jumping on here, man. It's unbelievable the energy you have. I got to ask you, you spent your time here, drafted, I think, by the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
An Angel, a Padre. Yeah. California, you were here. You have some sort of you just mentioned that matchup tonight, Angels Giants. How close do you stay in contact with what's going on in California as far as these clubs? And is this Dodger team on paper the best you've ever seen?
Yeah, well, that's crazy. When I signed in 1968, let's say when that was, I went to Ogden, Utah. I was the number 1 draft choice of the Dodgers. My manager was Tommy Lasorda. The guy who ran the clubhouse was a 16-year-old guy. His name was Zach Manassian. He happens to be the father of these two guys.
I knew
He's still my very good friend. Perry Manassian, who's in Anaheim. I see him all the time. I have season tickets. I go to the Angel games because I live over here in Newport Beach, so it's easy to get to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pulling up on you. Okay.
And I always check out the Dodgers. Of course, I'm a Dodger fan, true and true. Hey, and check this out. My buddy sent me a present. He found this on eBay. I want to get it for a second. I know that you guys don't have that much time. But
I know you're good. Look at that.
This was my original uniform.
No.
In 1970. Huh? Can you see that?
Wow. Yeah.
1970.
Wow.
Dodger uniform. That was my uniform. And then guess who got number 2 after me?
Tommy.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah. But is that kind of cool from whenever the heck that was? And, guys, I was in school at USC, and Billy Buckner was my roommate. And this crazy as times were in those days, if you weren't a full-time student, you went to Vietnam. Huh? So we were full-time students in the fall and the winter, and in the summertime, we played professional baseball. Well, this particular year in '69, when I wore this uniform in 1970 season, we went to school during the day in September, and then at night, 7 nights, we went to Dodger Stadium. We were in used uniform. We played for the Dodgers. How crazy is that for 19-year-olds to do?
Bobby, I got to get with you because I'm going to bring my boat down to Newport and see you because I'm in Long Beach. My boat's in Long – yeah, I'm going to call it yacht. It's in Long Beach, but I got to come see you because I didn't know you were here, and I'm always down there. My cigars actually are at High Times right there in Newport, Costa Mesa at the liquor store there.
I know High Times.
Yeah, you know High Times. So, yeah, hey, my slapdick cigars are there. Don't mind the name.
Yeah. Coach, you're doing it all, man. You're doing it all. Like
he's a bad boy. He's a bad boy.
He's a bad boy, ain't he? Yeah.
I'm not on your level. I got a baseball like lineage because my grandfather, and I told this story to Brett Boone. My grandfather played with Dizzy Dean, was roommates with Dizzy way back, and he played for the St. Louis Browns at the time, and you know the history. But he struck out Babe Ruth 3 times. And then his brother was Smoking Joe Brown, and he was the first pitcher in Major League Baseball history to kill a batter at the plate. Because at the time, you know baseball history, they didn't wear the hard hats at the plate. And he had, back then, a 95 mile an hour back in the 20s or whatever, hit a guy in the temple and killed him. And ESPN actually, back in the day when you were coaching, they used to do that Did You Know segment. And they actually brought it up, and I wish that we had social media then because I would have videoed it. But yeah, that was my grandpa's brother, Smoking Joe Brown. So I've been around baseball, and I got to get with you because I got pictures of my grandpa, Babe Ruth, Dizzy Dean, all these guys, Josh Gibson, and the Negro League. He played for St. Louis Browns, like I said at the time, and then I think they switched over. I think they became the Texas Rangers, right? If I'm not mistaken, or Cleveland Indians, I'm not sure.
Cleveland Indians, I think. Yeah, it was Washington Senators, Texas Rangers. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So I know a little bit. That's why I love baseball. At the end of the day, and I found out I could get you on. I was like, man, I gotta. There's some great stuff. I didn't know you were out here with us, and so we're always.
Come on down, Coach. Let me know when you're around. You got all my contacts. Enjoy yourself, huh?
Heck yeah! I can't thank you enough for jumping on here, Coach.
Thanks so much.
Hope all is well. And what are you doing right now before everybody, what are you doing now? Motivational speaking or something or what?
Yeah, sure. I do a lot of speaking. I do a lot of advising. You know, I'm a senior now, and I like to give advice. So I'm a senior advisor to a lot of places. Yeah.
Kudos to you, Coach. I can't thank you enough, brother. Good luck, and I appreciate you. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Coach. Great job. Thank you.
Nice meeting you. Yes, sir.